everyone, it's me Jenny, and this is another Sunday cosplay and crafts type video. Last week I talked about choosing a character, and this week I'm going to be talking about things you might want to consider when you're considering choosing a costume. Throughout this video I'm going to use three particular character examples in order to illustrate some of my points. So those are Elsa Scarlet from Fairy Tale, Superman, and Lizzie Bennet from Pride and Prejudice. So my first point is the idea of finding the iconic costume for a character, and there are benefits and minuses to that decision. For example, Superman is so iconic that if you are playing the Superman character, if you have the big S on the front of your clothes, you are playing that character. It's very easy to step into that character. It's very easily identifiable in pop culture and geek culture. It's very, very easily identifiable. It's so iconic. But it becomes more complicated when you look into things like Elsa Scarlet. Her most iconic outfit is probably her just straight suit of armour. Breastplate, silver, it's very simple. But if you're going with something slightly more fancy, something that is slightly more pretty, or that you think, wow, that is an amazing costume, but it might not be so recognisable. Superman is so identifiable, it's easy to pick that iconic costume and easy to do that iconic costume. Elsa Scarlet, choosing a costume that you really like and you empathise with and you want to do versus the level of iconic, it's quite difficult, and it is a bit more of a challenge because she has so many beautiful costumes that actually challenging yourself to pick a less well-known costume but one that you will be prouder of for making is something that you need to consider whether or not you want to do that. On a similar line, Lizzie Bennet. Lizzie Bennet is such an iconic character, but she doesn't have an iconic costume. You could go with the adaptations. You could try and copy the Jennifer L style very specifically, or you could copy the Keira Knightley version very specifically. Either way though, if you are actually in a crowd of people dressed in Austen costumes, you will just be another Austen person, not that specific character, because, you know, there hasn't been that iconic version of that character because she's an every woman. Similarly, gangster outfits fall into the same sort of clique where, you know, and even if you're going as the most specific, perfectly recreated version of a film character, if you're in a crowd of gangsters or crowd of men or women in gangster outfits, you are not going to be recognisable. So that's something that you really have to consider, because will you be recognised as that character outside of convention, inside of convention, within a clique of friends? So for example, if you were in a clique of super huge Superman nerds and you're going with one of the less iconic versions of the Superman character, I'll put up a picture of all of the different renditions of the Superman outfit. If you're going as Superman and you're going with nerdy people who really are, you know, so up to date and so invested in the costume, doing that little niggle on the character, doing that, you know, universe whatever version of Superman, and so your nerd friends can get really excited. That is a little lovely touch. Similarly, Elsa Scarlet, if you go with one of the lesser known versions of her armour, the nerd friends in you and in your surrounding area will get really excited, but you have to take into account that it might not be recognisable to your outside of your group. It's just something you need to consider, whether or not you're going on your own or with a group of friends who are all part of the same specific geek mindset. It's just something that you should think about, in my opinion. The next section, which is slightly different, is the availability of the equipment / skills level that you'll need to create the costume. So Superman is such an iconic character, it's so recognisable, and there are thousands of ways to make that costume. You can buy it pre-made, you can alter something that's already been created. If you're going with an interpretation of the Superman character that you can't buy the actual costume for, you can take an old costume and alter it slightly. You can, you know, mark up the S, You can do thousands of different ways to alter it, but it is relatively easy to buy, and it is relatively easy to make. You can buy the tights, you can, you know, manipulate t-shirts, make a cloth cape, that sort of thing. You know, this is comparative. Superman can be a hard costume to cosplay, but if you compare it to some other ones, say for example some Elsa Scarlet outfit, if you don't have the skill set to make all of the parts of the costume, props, hair, makeup, and the whole outfit, it is better to go with a simpler design that you are confident making, so you can do it well and feel satisfied that you've done it well. And this is a mistake that I have made in the past. My second proper cosplay was Mame from Magic Magica, and I was way over ambitious. I dyed a corset, I, you know, altered a shirt, I made puff sleeves for the first time, and there's parts of it that I am proud of, but there's parts of it that I genuinely look at and I think, that sewing's not good. That sewing's not good, and that bit fell off, and that bit just doesn't look how I want it to look. And if I'd gone with a simpler character, if for example I'd gone with the less iconic Magica Magica Mame costume, which is the school uniform, rather than the magical girl version, I probably would have been more proud of the end result. Anyway, that's a different example. I'm sorry to have gone into that one, but that one was a personal experience of learning how to judge your own skill set. When it comes to Jane Austen, there's also a level of historical accuracy. Are you going to do the full corset underneath the clothing? Even though Jane Austen outfits don't look like they wear corsets, they wore corsets. Are you going to do the corsets? Are you going to do the historically accurate shoes? Are you going to preen your hair appropriately? Are you going to go without makeup? That is a challenge for people who wear a lot of makeup, particularly congoers, to really go as a character who would not have worn makeup, to put in all the effort into the clothes and into the hair, and then either do completely natural makeup and actually make it look natural, or to go makeup less, is a challenge, and it's something that you need to consider. Again, going on the male equivalent of the Jane Austen characters, again, male stereotype, female stereotype. There are plenty of men who like to dress as Jane Austen male characters or female characters. I think that's a less common one, and there's plenty of women who like to dress up as gangsters. It's easy to put parts together. It's relatively accessible to buy a waistcoat and a hat and the fake weaponry and stuff, but you need to take into account how accessible it is and how detailed and how far you want to go. It is amazing if you can tailor make your own gangster suit. Ooh, all the power to you, but if you can't, it is something you need to consider is your skill set, availability of parts, and how much money you're willing to spend. I hope this video was useful for you guys. Feel free to comment down below and fill me in about any news or thoughts you have on choosing a costume. Kind of as a last point, you have to like the costume. I'm going to go into body types possibly next week, and character interpretations and original cosplays in the future. But you have to like the costume. There is no point in you struggling and struggling to make the perfect Elsa Scarlet outfit and then actually looking at it and being like, no, I don't like this. I don't think I want to wear this, because no matter how beautiful it looks, you know, how much effort I put into it, I just don't like it that much. Like, I don't particularly like the one with the hair thingies. It's just not my cup of tea. Anyway, I hope this helped. I'm sorry to ramble some more. And I'll see you guys all next week for more crafts, and tomorrow for some gameplay, and around the internet space. Bye guys.